Hello everyone, and welcome back to After Capture. This is basically a video series where I just take a photo that I recently got from a trip I was on and just edit it. So I'll just kind of show you my process here. So today's photo is actually from Clifton Gorge. I was there pretty recently. Took some long exposure of the Amphitheater Falls, and I was really excited just because it was a photo I was really envisioning for many months. And then when I finally returned, the water was flowing very nicely. And so I got this very gorgeous, long exposure. So we're just gonna get started here. I'm editing it in Skylum software. It's actually Aurora HDR 2019. I'm not affiliated, I just really like using their software. Aurora HDR 2019 is actually good for bracketing shots and, as the name suggests, high dynamic range photography. So while I bracketed many different types of exposures and combinations, right here I'm just going to do something nice and simple. I only got 2 raw files that I'm going to edit. They're going to compile these 2 bracketed shots together, and it's going to make this nice image, but it's still going to need a lot of detail and colors brought back later on in post, which is what I'm going to do here. So without further ado, we're going to get started here, and we'll see what happens. Alright, so I'm going to get started here. I've got my nice vertical monitor set up here, which is going to work really well, obviously, because it's a vertical image. It's what I had envisioned, just because this is a very long and narrow waterfall that it just really wouldn't make sense capturing it horizontally. Plus, it just, you wouldn't be able to really fit it in the image in one single frame. So, because I shot this with a 24mm prime lens, and I could, even at that length, I could barely even get the whole entire waterfall in, and the drop where it lands. Luckily, this image shows the entire waterfall as is, as it comes down. It doesn't really show too much of the drop, but it's alright. The problem was with this image is that I had to shoot it with lots of cloud cover that I had to get on and off, and it was really just difficult in order to get the proper lighting detail and have it be more overcast. So I had to wait for the clouds to go over the sun and block it before I could really shoot it properly. So if anyone's interested in my 2 raw files here, I got one exposure that's just at the plain old 0, and I got one that's at a whole another f-stop and another 3rd exposure brighter. So I'm just going to load these images here. So yeah, like I said, it was really difficult and tricky, just trying to get the right lighting detail, and even then I'm not 100% satisfied with these the results here, but they do look very nice in my opinion. But I'm definitely going to probably go back again on a much more cloudy, overcast day, and just retry it and see where it goes from there. So usually when naturally when you have more raw files to process, if you have them on a whole batch like this, bracketed shots, at least on HDR software like this, it's going to take a little bit longer, but since I only have 2 here, it should be really fast, and it looks like it's almost done. There we go. Cool. So we're just going to get started here. Histogram, as you can tell, it's a little leaning to the left, maybe a little bit more to the right would help, so I might increase the exposure here just a little bit, just very little. Like I said in previous videos, and other photographers probably say it, you don't want to go crazy with the sliders and just make them like 100% positive or negative 100%. You just want to make it very nice and subtle adjustments. You don't want to overdo too much, so I'm just going to be very gentle. So I'm going to up the clarity here. See, I'm only doing it at the 4, I'm not doing it at like 48, 81, 100%. Because yeah, then it starts to look like this, and it looks very unnatural. So I'm gonna, it's already reasonably sharp throughout the detail, because the waterfall is pretty close to the cliff face, so it kind of just got everything in focus. I didn't have to really worry about a deep depth of field. It's pretty easy to achieve, and you can tell at the top there's a nice clear blue sky, which kind of helps. So yeah, my goal with these videos is to just kind of show you in the moment kind of what I'm thinking when I edit photos. I don't want it to be too scripted or try and edit something I previously have done. Yeah, see, just as an example, here's the polarizing filter. If you really dramatically use it and look how blue, very deep blue the sky gets, and then look how the water gets very blue as well. Now this to me, yeah, it's definitely unnatural if you kept it as far as that. So, just as an example, I don't like making the water too blue when it's a long exposure, just my personal preference. I'd rather keep it more on the white side with a little bit of a blue tint, which, I mean, I've kind of already achieved it here. It's maybe more white than blue, but I like how it looks regardless. And, you know, I'm gonna try something different. I'm gonna apply a very, very small, see, get really deep with the vignette, but I'm gonna try, maybe I will use a lot more than I'm planning. And, nah. Let's go here. And then check the before and after. You can see the difference. It just says reference. This is where I started with, and then here we are now. So it definitely took away a lot of the water detail, unfortunately. Which, I mean, I guess it's just the way it goes with the two raw files I choose. Maybe one of them had more water detail and the other didn't. So it just grabbed what it considered the best details from both and made it into this one. And I'm gonna boost the small details just a little bit. Check it again. Other than that, it doesn't look too bad. You can really tell in the before and after. Here's before, the shadow details, especially on this right side, just were, you know, it's pretty deep in shadows. But now with HDR, it just not necessarily eliminated the shadows because I can still see them on some of the rocks and underneath. But you know, you don't want everything to be totally exposed and have no shadows because then it just doesn't, it lacks depth. So you definitely want to have some shadows here and there to just kind of mix it up, and it creates that kind of, creates more of a purposeful photo, and it has more interest into looking at it. Try something different here. I'm gonna mess with image radiance, and just a little bit, like I said, not too crazy. And see, I'm using tone curve now. It's actually a tool I don't use too often, but see how I can really warm up the image. Go for a cool tint. Set that. And I'm not really feeling that, honestly. What I am going to try to do is dodge and burn this waterfall. There we go. This actually brings back the water look a little bit more. This is honestly something I never thought of until now. Kind of creates more punch to it, the entire look. The darken tool can entirely erase it. It's just too unnatural looking without it. So overall, my thoughts on Aurora HDR 2019. It's amazing software. I use it all the time. You can even edit single photos if you want. It doesn't have all the same tools as like Lunar or Adobe Lightroom. It doesn't have all the tools as those do, but it still works just as well. Actually, I'm gonna use the crop, but I'm not gonna crop it necessarily. I'm just gonna adjust because it looks a little off balance to me. If I look at the ground, it doesn't look entirely level with the frame. So I'm just gonna very slightly edit that, and cool, should be it. Yeah, the good thing about if you take good images at least, is that you really shouldn't have to edit them more than you have to. They should just be, for the most part, good in camera, and you should use the software like this to just simply enhance it. Use a polarizer a little bit more, filter. You know what? I think that will be it. Like I said, I don't want to overdo it, but yeah, here's what we started with. Here's what we got. So you can see in the original, it's a little bit too much white, I guess, in the water, and then up top on the sky, it's just really just washed out. It's barely even blue, if you can tell. And then not only that, but it knocks out the reflections in the green foliage at the top. Just kind of draws your eye in this waterfall as it goes straight down the vertical frame. So I think it's going to be it. So I'm going to export it. And the way I name my files, I'm just going to do simply the name of it itself. Amphitheater Falls. And then I'm going to do the acronym. So it'll be TAF, and then we'll just call this 01, and it's going to export. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching. I know it's a pretty simple video. Hopefully someday I'll get a more involved photo of the process here. Maybe one that, hopefully I won't post-process too much where it just gets an unnatural look, but maybe I'll have more tools I can experiment with. I'm definitely, it's all a learning process. I'm still learning as I go. I hope you enjoyed it. I like this photo a lot. I'm going to probably retake it though, see if I can get some better light in there, and then I'll show you the results on my website. So thank you so much for watching. Make sure to subscribe. If you like the video, comment down below. Let me know what you like most about the video. And thank you so much, guys.